I'm just going to bounce these bees off. Hey, what's up everybody? David Burns here. Thanks for joining me. You know, a week ago I showed you a video about a winter bee kind that a week before they had totally eaten it in just 7 days. And I was amazed at how fast they went through that winter bee kind. So I put another one on in that video. And today we're going to go back out and check on it again. And this time it's been 2 weeks. So we need to find out how much this hive has eaten in 2 weeks. Now the first week they ate the whole thing and I was out of town for a while. I was going to check it again. 2 weeks have gone by. We're going to take a look. Let's get into it right now. Well, I brought one out just in case we find that they've really eaten through this one fast. And I want to check the date. I can't remember the date that I said I looked at it. Here's the date here. December the 2nd. Today's December the 16th, so it's been on there 14 days. 2 weeks. Wow. There's a fly and a bee. I didn't realize I had let 2 weeks go by. Giving their historical past, I'm going to guess it's going to be bone dry. Well, it is almost completely gone. This is their second winter bee kind, and as you can see, they've gotten all of this gone except a little bit here. So I think what I'll do is put a new one on because there's not much left and it's turning colder, right? So let's shake the bees off. You might want to remove any candy that's going to prevent the next winter bee kind from sitting nicely on the hive. This chunk might be okay. Get the bees off of it as best you can. Oh, they love this stuff. They're just eating that up like crazy. Again, it's about 39 and it's pretty shaded right where I'm at here. These bees love this material. All right, let's take these bees here. So the question would be, how do I get all these bees back into the hive and off the sugar candy? Two things are going to happen. I'm going to just bounce the board, and these bees are going to get a little bit excited. Probably good to smoke them, but the bees are going to fall off. Some sugar is going to fall down too. But if some sugar falls off, it doesn't matter because I've got a little space built in. The gap here, you can see it's a little taller. So that will be fine. It won't smash any bees. So I'm okay with some sugar falling off. The gap goes in the front. This little opening here, it's going to go toward the front of the hive. So I'm just going to lean this against my leg so I can kind of work fast. See how I'm just going to bounce these bees off. Okay, they're completely off. Some sugar fell down on there. I'm going to leave it because there's plenty of room. Whoops. A little clumsy. All right, very good. So now we just put the top on and we're good to go again. There you go, back to the front of the hive. The bees are not really flying that much right now, a little bit. This definitely would take a block, concrete block, something heavy. I'll get this done in a little bit. But again, you can see in 14 days, because you can see the date that I wrote on here, maybe. I'll show it to you. Do you see right here where it says December the 2nd? And today is the 16th. You know what? Let's go ahead and do the same thing here. I should bring a pen or something. instead of writing with the end of my hive tool. This time I'm going to put 12, 16, 21. All right, so looks like to me that we're going to need about 2 weeks to come back out and check this out again. Gosh, that's a good feeling when you aren't really sure about a hive, how much honey they have on board. And this hive, you know, they have that whole deep box full of frame by frame of capped over honey. They're choosing to eat that winter bee kind before they eat that frame of honey, those frames of honey. And I'm pretty excited about that. That says a lot about the mixture, the taste, the proteins they're getting from that winter bee kind. They've already gone through basically 2 of them in 3 weeks. So they're a big colony. You can see by the numbers that are on that top of the top bars of the top deep how big they are. And so that's pretty exciting stuff. I've got a lot to talk about today about December tips, and that includes feeding. But I want to say something before I get rolling today, and that is, you know, we really are heartbroken over the devastation that happened from the tornadoes that occurred a week ago throughout the country. We focused a lot on the tornadoes as they went through Mayfield, Kentucky, the South, some of the southern states, and that was really heartbreaking. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose your home, maybe even lose loved ones, and be at work and your whole work falls in on you. Gosh, that's got to be terrible. So when you start thinking about your honeybees and you start worrying about your hives and you start thinking, oh my gosh, are my hives going to make it through winter? I'm kind of worried that they have enough food on board. You know, we need to bring things back in perspective. And sometimes these eye-opening catastrophic events such as tornadoes coming out of nowhere in a season that is kind of odd for this time of the year, it brings us back to the important things of life. And that is our family and our friends, people. And we need to focus on that. You know, to lose a hive is nothing like losing your house. To lose some bees in the wintertime, you know, nothing like losing a loved one. My gosh, you know. So let's keep this in perspective before you get really all wound up with your bees and you're going crazy about worrying about your bees. Let's take a deep breath and realize we have a lot to be thankful for. A lot of things, you know, aren't as bad as we think they are when it comes to keeping bees. This should be a hobby. I know some of you, like me, you make your living off of bees, and so you've got more invested in their survival. I get that. But still, as long as we have our health, as long as we have our family and our friends, people that we love and people that we enjoy being around, gosh, that's really what matters in life. I just wanted to give that kind of a note out there for you to, you know, come around and think about life and enjoy life. We're coming up to the holidays, which many of you, I know not all of you, but many of you celebrate holidays with your friends and your family, and you're going to enjoy some good times together. So just focus and relax on that. I have a lot of tips and projects that I want to share with you as beekeepers. And I thought about sharing them as December tips, but you know, they're really not. They're tips for January. So I'm going to push them off for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to give you December tips. You're going to love the first one, and that is tip number 1, relax and do as little as possible with beekeeping. I know that sounds strange, but we've done a lot throughout the months behind us. And it's really time to take a breather. It's time to kind of relax. Sometimes when you take a break from something, it's a lot more fun when you get back into it. I mean, let's face it, you can overdo it. You can be overstimulated. You can be overstressed, and you start losing interest or enjoyment in what you're doing. So for the month of December, I really do want you to just rest assured your bees are probably doing fine, and you just need to relax. Tip number 2 is I want you to pick a beekeeping book. I've got some recommendations down in the description of this video. And I know I said take a break from beekeeping, but I meant the physical activity or the mental activity of worry. And I want you to focus on something that you can enjoy about beekeeping for the month of December and kind of read. I know there's only, a couple of weeks left, but maybe choose a book that you can study or read this winter. And I don't want it to be a book that's going to cause you a lot of work. I don't want it to be a book that you've got to stress out over, not a real heavy scientific book on bees, but an enjoyable book where you can learn something about bees. We really are, I think, mentally healthier when we're growing mentally, when we're understanding something new for the first time. So if you can dive into a book and start reading, and even if you read the book and you say, oh, I already knew that, maybe you'll only gain maybe one or two things that are new to you. That's enough. Even if you can gain one thing that's kind of new and a new thing that you want to try maybe in the spring, those are great things to experience. So pick a book and enjoy reading about bees a little bit in the winter months. Now, lately I've had so many people ask me questions about feeding their bees, and it's really stressing people out because of the temperatures going up and down and up and down. A lot of people are asking, should I put liquid feed on because they're flying? Should I take my winter bee kind off because it's pretty warm now? Will my bees be robbed out? So let me quickly tell you what I do. Now, by all means, it's different where you live. I'm sure your climate's different, and maybe your philosophy of feeding bees is different. I'm not the expert, and so to speak, I'm not the one that holds the silver bullet when it comes to feeding bees. I don't know everything. I just know some things that I like to do that has worked well most of the time, not always, but most of the time for me. And that is, I put my winter bee kinds on for winter and I leave them on. I'm not really going to take them off and start feeding them liquid unless I see that we have a very long stretch of temperatures that are almost spring or summer-like, and that's not going to happen for me. Sure, I may get a few days, I may get a week. It's not really worth it for me to take the winter bee kind off. If I saw that I was going to get 2 weeks or more of temperatures above 60 degrees Fahrenheit for high temperatures, okay, I might want to feed them liquid. But you know what? I'm not going to feed it on the hive. I don't want to do that. I want to feed them, as I've said before, off in a community feeder. I think that works a lot better than trying to feed them on the hive in the wintertime. So if you want to put some sugar water out that I've showed you a couple of times now, away from your hives, don't get them too close, but away from the hives, that will help bees not rob each other. They can go to a big community feeder. So I'm not going to take the winter bee kinds off. I'm going to keep them on there because at night when it cools down, they cluster again. It'd be nice if the bees can still enjoy the winter bee kind on top of that hive. And while we're on the subject of winter bee kinds, I know many of you have been wanting to buy those and we're out of stock. I have 3 words to tell you: August, September, October. We sell our winter bee kinds in the months of August, September, and October for delivery sometime in December. And that's just how we roll. Now, we are planning on making some more after the first of the year if all goes well. We have to make sure we can get the lumber and material and all that again. That was a little tough to do this fall, but we will do our best to put some more online, maybe the first or second week in January. The best way to do that is just to watch the website, and you'll see them go live on our website at honeybeesonline.com. Hey, look at this. This is one of my most favorite things to eat, and that is a big block of honeycomb. Now, this is a neat way to do it. You can make honeycomb by making some frames in your hive that don't have foundation in them, and they just have the frame of the frame itself. I've showed you how to do that in some of my other videos, and I just think that's a tasty looking piece of comb. And you can see the honey is kind of dripping out a little bit on the side, and wow, that's got to taste good. I mean, just take a look at that. Oh my gosh. And I love to chew the comb. A lot of people enjoy chewing honeycomb. That's something that I enjoy a lot. Doesn't that look delicious? And I've chewed so much honeycomb, and I love it. I don't swallow it. I spit the wax out after I suck out all the delicious honey from it. I'm not going to eat it just yet because I got one more thing to tell you, and I don't want wax all of my teeth when I talk, but I'm going to eat it in just a minute. Now, I've made some recent videos that are really great for you about feeding your bees in this kind of awkward time of the year. And my most recent one that I did a video or two back ago, I think it'll be helpful for you if you haven't seen that. So here it is right here. Check this video out. You'll love it. Teaches you about feeding your bees, how to do a community feeder that I just talked about, and kind of talks about feeding bees with the winter bee kind. Look at this wax. Wow, here goes. Wax and honey. That's a lot of sugar though, but it's still worth it, right? And that's got a unique taste to it.